Hi everyone, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Anthony Massaro, a marketing and innovation intern here at Nassau Financial Group, and today I'm giving you an inside look at one of the biggest intern networking events in the Hartford area this summer. This year's Hype Intern Mixer brought together over 100 young professionals from across the region, representing 24 different companies, all gathering right here at Nassau's campus in downtown Hartford. Hosted in partnership with the Metro Hartford Alliance and Hartford Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs, also known as HYPE, this event was all about sparking connections, making memories, and creating opportunities. From yard games to mocktails, to meaningful conversations and career inspiration, the energy was real. Let's dive in and hear from the interns, organizers, and professionals who made it all happen.
My name is Julissa Moda. I'm interning at the Hartford for the Tech and Ops LDP internship.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about what you do for the Hartford?
Yeah, so I actually worked for a data engineering team, trying to enhance observability for the platform engineering team at the Hartford.
Cool. What's one skill or habit that you've developed during your time with the Hartford that you think you'll carry forward in your career?
I think I've definitely learned how to ask questions during this internship and to not be afraid to ask questions. I think a lot of interns are scared that they're not ready to add value to the team, but if you ask those questions and get that fear out of the way in the first 2-3 weeks, you'll be ready for success for the rest of your internship. So definitely not being afraid to ask questions, and yeah, just communicating a lot with your managers and mentors.
Yeah, I think that's a huge lesson that people often overlook, because asking questions is how we learn. It's hard to just learn in a classroom at our age in high school or in college. So being able to ask those questions and learn from the people around you who have experience in a field or career that you're looking to get in from your own perspective is important, because then you can apply that to your life or your experiences that you've had so far, and then be able to take that with you as you progress. So thanks for your advice. Thanks for your skill that you've developed, and I hope you have a good rest of your summer.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sandy Min, and I am a production intern at the Hartford Film Company.
And what do you do for them this summer? What are the main tasks that you have?
So this summer, I have been tasked to help produce, edit, and essentially deliver a video highlighting a youth apprenticeship program that has been sponsored under Real Artways in Park Street.
Cool. Would you say you have a favorite aspect of that job?
My favorite aspect, especially as a producer, has been getting to know the students, getting to know their names, how they've come to find filmmaking, and essentially getting to learn more about their story and then helping create this video that essentially highlights their love and passion for filmmaking.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think there's a lot of aspiring people in that field, so I'm sure people appreciate the work that you're doing for them. As it pertains to your goals, how would you say that this internship has aligned with your goals and the ones that you're setting for yourself in the future?
So through this internship, I've had a really lucky opportunity to be able to meet people from so many different backgrounds, ages, and parts of Connecticut in general. I think it's been so wonderful getting to know these people, and as someone who's always looking to network and build new relationships, it's been really exciting getting to meet these people and learn more about their role in the industry and what their aspirations are.
Cool. Would you say you have one skill that you've taken away from this internship that you're looking to use most as you move forward?
Definitely the networking aspect.
Yeah.
Especially as a producer, it's really important to be able to kind of meet anyone in the industry and build a relationship with them, and I think that's something that's going to be important for the rest of my career and life. Yeah,
I agree. I think as young professionals that it's important who we meet and how we are able to kind of portray ourselves in front of them to be able to show that we're reliable workers, and hopefully that they can attest to that sometime when we need them down the line, just to be able to talk about our careers and what they do and what we do, so we can kind of get ourselves out and about in the real world, as people would say in school. So thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
I'm Jenna Kusti. I'm currently the Senior Marketing Manager at the Metro Hartford Alliance. So Really, we kind of run the gamut. The Metro Hartford Alliance is kind of focused on the Hartford region, but we have initiatives that do their own thing under it. So we're here today with HYPE, which is Hartford Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs. So that's one of our initiatives. We have the Hartford Chamber of Commerce, so another one focused on, City of Hartford, small businesses. Then we have Connecticut Insurance and Financial Services, since obviously Hartford is the insurance capital of the world. And then we have the Connecticut Health Council as well. So my job is taking all of those different brands, all their different missions, and we are constantly putting out marketing materials, so like e-blast, social media, other content, other forms of content, other campaigns. So I'm managing all those accounts all the time. It's a lot, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you have an important job, definitely taking care of the community in Hartford and making sure that the young people that live here are going to stay here and be proud to be here, be proud Hartford natives or Connecticut natives even. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about HYPE and what we're hoping to do today with the interns, trying to get them connected with other people and get their careers started?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I did a lot of internships when I was in grad school, and I think here I've seen some that are like high school seniors, some people who like you are like recent college grads and everything, but I think doing a mixer like this, kind of like what you pointed out, showing that there's a lot of opportunity in Hartford. You may be able to like get a really good job here, but it's also showing that there's a vibrancy where people can actually like hang out, make new friends, find fun things to do. And so one of the things that I've talked about too is like you could go to Boston, you could go to New York City, you could go to LA. Like, of course, these are all like super specific, like cool subcultures. There are opportunities there, but it's not like there's nothing in Connecticut either. And so a lot of this is like A, showing people that, and like B, actually creating more opportunities so people can like make those connections and things like that.
Totally. I really appreciate you saying that too. A lot of my job that I had last summer was all about overcoming the challenges that Connecticut faces between New York and Boston, and kind of being seen as a drive-through state. So being able to drive initiatives behind what there is to do in Connecticut and show people that there is a lot to be excited about when you're living here, so that when they grow up here, they want to stay here, make friends here, especially from a young professional standpoint. There's a lot of interns that are looking to make friends with the people that they're working with. Obviously, professional connections is important with where you are in your state and in your city, but being able to also have a good community outside of that to personally drive yourself forward is important. So we all appreciate what the Metro Hartford Alliance is doing, and obviously HYPE tonight. So thank you so much for coming on here and helping us all out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. No, it's been like super fun, and yeah, I don't know, to your point, right? Like my family and my friends, they're all from Connecticut. There's a lot here. And I don't know, like where am I gonna go? Ohio? Yeah. Iowa? No.
There's a lot to do here. It's a common misconception that Connecticut can be seen as a state that people go to raise a family or something like that. And although that is a great thing that people can do here, it's also a great opportunity state for young people and young professionals looking to make their way in insurance or in an industry that may be seen as more prominent in a bigger city. Becoming a Connecticut definitely offers a lot of opportunity to them as well.
Yeah. One last thing I'll say too is I think one of the other perks is that you can kind of be more of like a big fish in a small pond here than maybe some of the larger metropolitan areas. So a lot of times what we found in like our own work is, especially as I've gotten to like know the community better in Hartford, you'll kind of think like, oh, how come we can't do this, or we haven't gotten clearance for that? And as you start meeting people, you'll come to find out, yeah, James over at like that organization, he's in charge of that. I can give him a call for you, and we can like kind of make that happen. Whereas I think in like a larger area, you might not be able to do that, and like in a very small area, there, those resources just aren't available at all. So I think you could like strike a middle ground, like make a lot of cool stuff happen.
Great. I love your point about that too. I think that networking is huge, and being able to have connections that can make you other connections and just kind of lead you on a path that you may not always be able to see for yourself, but be able to kind of see through other people and your mentors, advisees, especially for these college students that are looking to go somewhere after school. We need a lot of mentors and people to guide us the right way, who can teach us from their challenges that they face and adversities that they've been able to overcome in their careers already. We can learn from that. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Bye.
My name is Matt McCarsky, and I am an analytics professional for Travelers Insurance and a Hype board member.
Awesome. What would you say is the best part of your career? What do you think you find most rewarding so far as you've been with Travelers?
You know, when I first interviewed for Travelers, they asked me why I wanted to work for the company, and I had told them that, typically this is a question where companies want you to reiterate some of the facts about the company.
Yep.
Like Travelers, $40 billion company and number one workers' comp insurer. But instead of going with one of those typical answers, I said, listen, growing up, my dad drove me into the city, and he pointed out all the buildings along the Hartford skyline. And I always felt that Travelers Tower was the best piece of the skyline. So it would give me a lot of pride to work here. And, 6 years later, I love coming into the office and working in that traditional tower.
Yeah, awesome. So you work in the biggest Travelers building over there in the tower?
I do.
Awesome.
I do.
Well, that's a dream, I bet. Dream come true growing up.
Yes.
That's awesome. What are some main tasks that you do during your typical workday?
Yeah, I mean, hey, in the analytics space, it's always evolving, right? So it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about understanding who your audience is for those numbers. Who's going to make decisions with those numbers. What kind of information do they need to be armed with? For me, I like to understand the business that I'm working with as opposed to just giving them recommendations. I want to know hand in hand how their day-to-day looks like before I hand over any numbers.
Great.
So it's a lot of relationship building.
Awesome. I think that you mentioned that it's always changing and always evolving. So I think that being able to have a career where you're not just walking into work doing the exact same thing every single day, but there's some movement and change, and the ability for you to adapt is important. It's not only you can grow in your career, but you can continuously learn, because no matter how long we work for, we're lifelong learners. So it's always important to be able to keep picking up skills and all the lessons that you can take. But being with Travelers for 6 years, what's one piece of advice or one lesson that you've learned from your early career that you may be able to give to an intern or somebody just starting their career?
Yeah, I mean, every single intern that I've met, especially tonight, everyone's ambitious. Everybody wants to light the world on fire in the best possible way,
right.
And prove that they're worthy for a return offer or whatever that big next step is for their career. My advice is, hey, listen, this is a 10-week internship. You're probably not going to completely change the company's finances around or anything like that, right? So just focus on learning, right?
Awesome.
That is something you can do in 10 weeks is learn and build relationships. And if you can learn how to learn and learn how to build relationships, I mean, that's going to be the bridge to making those big changes in the world in your career.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. And I also think that's something that a lot of the interns have all been saying, is that asking questions is important and not being afraid to ask questions to people that may be of superiority to you in the company. So what's something that you've been asked from a fellow intern, not fellow intern, but another intern in your company, and how do you approach kind of giving them advice and being somebody that they look up to?
Yeah, I try to treat everybody differently, right? Based on whatever their situation, as opposed to just giving them what I think is the best advice to them. I try to ask them questions. So they'll ask me a question for advice, and then I'll ask them 7.
There you go.
And if I can better understand their situation and get underneath, what's the true need here, then I can prescribe something that's better tailored to what they have going on.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a lesson that I learned early in my college career. I had an interview with somebody that was working at a company. He'd been there for a while, and it was kind of our project to be able to talk to him, ask him questions, and learn from him. And then we asked him one piece of advice that he would give to us. And based on our interview, he told us basically that his best piece of advice was that interviews they're two ways. He's not just trying to learn, or we're not just trying to learn from him, but he's also trying to learn from us because we're a different demographic than he was. So any piece of advice or anything that we can give him that he can advance his career with is important. So it's not just approaching conversations with people that may have more experience with you or than you in a way that you're only trying to learn from them, but in a way that you can offer them something of value as well. So
yeah, you asked a great question, right?
Exactly.
To that professional. Was it a professor?
No, actually, it was a PR professional in the communications world.
Asking questions is a skill.
Yeah.
Asking good questions is very hard to do. And when I was in college, you might ask questions about, hey, can you clarify this piece of the lecture? Okay, that's very small, right? But
Yeah.
when you're an intern at a company, the questions you're asking are like, hey, what's the history behind this decision, or what's the history behind this organizational change,
Yep.
things like that. That becomes a lot harder to do. And when I started my career, I was very bad at asking questions. I didn't know how to do it. I saw people who were good at it, and I wondered, how do I do that? How do I get good at asking questions? And the truth is, the only way to get better is just do it and do it and do it over and over and over again, repetition. And when I started, my questions still weren't that great. And then they went from not that great to less mediocre.
Yeah.
And then slowly they became good. And then,
Yeah,
and then they grow from there.
I think that we all have heard the lesson, obviously, that there's no such thing as a dumb question. So being able to kind of overcome that fear initially and continue to talk to people, whether that's through networking or people that are at a company that may work in a different department than you, there's something that anybody can learn. Always people to talk to at a company, whether they are close to you or far away from you. So just being able to get out of your comfort zone and talk to those people, because they may have lessons that you can learn that you wouldn't have originally thought they had for you. So even if it's a personal piece of advice, not necessarily something professional, but often our personal and professional lives are intertwined. So being able to take lessons that you learn in your personal life and tie them into what you do professionally is important as well. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on here today. Is there anything else that you wanted to add at the end?
Yeah, do you think we could do like Hartford focus questions? That's more of my
for
wheelhouse.
Sure. For sure. What's your favorite thing about Hartford? We'll start simple there.
Absolutely. The number one thing is the river.
Okay.
The river is everything. I like to say that life flows from the river.
Got it.
And that it's our only eternal asset. The reason I say that is that you can pick up and move a company. You can pick up and move highways and roads and cars and trains. You can pick up and move a baseball team. You can pick up and move just about anything, but the one thing you cannot mess with is the river.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going away. It is a natural resource. It floods.
Yeah.
And so everything that we do needs to put the river first, whether we're thinking about how we build our infrastructure, how, we tailor our riverfront and the events that we put on, what kind of housing development do we have. So to me, if we can put the river first when we're thinking about how we build this city, then that's the best North Star.
Awesome. That's a unique take. I feel like I've asked people what their favorite part of Hartford is or what their perception of Hartford is, and nobody's ever really said the river is the heart of Hartford. So I really appreciate you saying that, and that's definitely something that we can all learn from, because like you said, everything runs from the river, and it all is like the heart of the city.
Yeah, and it applies to both sides of the river too. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Please, yeah.
So
yeah.
What town are you from?
I'm from Ellington.
Ellington.
Yeah.
Okay, so not far from here.
Not too far, no.
And so you've probably hung out in some of these towns around here, maybe West Hartford Center,
Yeah.
things like that. Okay. So Hartford is surrounded by two towns, right? East Hartford and West Hartford.
Yep.
Now, tell me, actually don't tell me, but think about it in your head.
Yeah.
Of those two towns, which one do you find more aesthetically pleasing? Don't answer.
I won't. I have an answer, though.
Did you pick the one with the river?
No.
No, you didn't,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so that's not to say, like, I'm not trying to disparage East Hartford in any way there.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is there is so much potential in East Hartford. West Hartford's a great town, and it's a great time. And I think that East Hartford absolutely has the opportunity to be something even greater because they have that beautiful riverfront.
Yeah, I mean, that's very insightful as well. And I think from a Hartford perspective as well, some outsiders may look at Hartford as a boring city, or maybe there's not so much to do here. But growing up in it, we obviously have seen a different perspective. It's not just a place that people drive from Boston to New York City through, but a place where you can stop and make some good connections, meet some good people, have some good food. What's the main thing that you think Hartford needs to overcome to be able to put the real image of what they are out into the greater area of Connecticut or the tri-state area in general?
I think we need to better define who we are as a region, because there's the city of Hartford, there's the county that you might see on the weather report at the end of the day.
Yep.
But that's not county governance. That's just lines on a map, right? At the end of the day in Connecticut, every town governs themselves. So it's every town for themselves. If we thought a little more regionally, if we thought about the fact that, hey, Bradley Airport is our airport.
Yep.
Right, and there's a connection there, and this Connecticut River is our river, and we built around that. If we built around the idea that, hey, Springfield, Massachusetts, those guys and gals were Whalers fans, They weren't Bruins fans, right? So the sphere of influence of Hartford should go all the way up through Springfield, Massachusetts. And if we developed that way and thought that broadly as one team, I think that would completely change the perception, not just of the city of Hartford, but some of the surrounding towns.
I think that what you just said would resonate with my dad a lot, especially about the Whalers. He was pretty disappointed when the Whalers left for the Carolinas. So being able to just have that sense of pride for Connecticut and the cities that we have around here is super important. And I went to school in California, so not that many people obviously went to the same school as me from Connecticut, but when I was able to talk to somebody that was from Connecticut, it was few and far between, but we always had that connection. And I've never felt more of a sense of pride than when I was talking to those people about Connecticut, because often I had friends from Massachusetts and from Boston who were like, oh, what's there to do in Connecticut? Why would you want to live there? But then I was able to talk to my friends that I had over there from Connecticut, and we were able to make that connection and talk about the things that Connecticut does have and what's so good about it. It's a great place to grow up, great place to raise a family, we've heard so often. So being able to push those things out to people that don't often hear them is super important, and something that people working in Hartford, whether that's in insurance or any other industry, is an initiative that we all should kind of collectively take and work towards promoting.
Absolutely. I mean, Hartford is a very small city,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of potential. So it's a lot easier to get to know, the people who are making big decisions and collaborate and, get your ideas out there. I lived in Atlanta for a year. By the way, where in California were you?
I went to Pepperdine in Southern
Yep.
California.
So you look around there in these places, Pepperdine, and I was in Metro Atlanta, and you might have an idea of, oh, this could make the city better.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who to go to.
Exactly.
And I'm not from there, so is it even my place? Here, I'm from here, all right? So it is my place.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller city, so there's more room for ideas.
Yeah.
So I encourage you and others to speak out and think, hey, what could Hartford really be?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that call to action. I think it's important for everybody to always learn and be able to have a sense of responsibility for what they can do in their local community. So I'll end with one last question. Favorite food that you've had in Hartford? Where can we go?
Scott's Jamaican Bakery.
Okay.
Albany Ave is where you can get the beef patties. On Main Street is the restaurant.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and your advice. Thank you very much. It was a great conversation.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Elijah Vomar. I'm a marketing intern at Metro Hartford Alliance, and right now I'm a lifeguard for my job.
Awesome. What grade are you in?
I just graduated East Hartford High School.
Okay. Congratulations. Where are you going to school next year?
I'm going to do 2 years at MCC for free, and then after that, I'm thinking of going to UConn or CCSU.
Awesome. Studying marketing, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, what was the most valuable thing that you think you've learned this summer that's going to help you move forward afterwards?
I think the most important thing I've learned is how much time goes into certain things, even little things, because during marketing, right now I'm actually working on the Hype Instagram page.
Cool.
And I've been assigned to make like a pin post for it. So I thought it was going to be pretty quick and pretty easy because like being younger, I'm on social media a whole lot. But when I was actually designing the post, it's a lot of things that I thought were just quick. And they actually took me a bit of time, like especially how to word sentences that were going to go on the post, the pictures I wanted on there, and the graphics.
Yeah, I think that I totally agree with that. I just started going into social media a lot this summer with my internship, and being on the back end of it has definitely shown me a lot of what goes on behind the scenes compared to seeing it yourself from other accounts when you're just having a good time scrolling on Instagram. You don't realize how much work goes into each post, whether that's the graphic that goes into it or the caption behind it. But one thing that I found that's helped me a lot is AI this summer a lot. It's definitely been able to help with ideation and being able to create those graphics and the captions that go into those posts a lot easier. How have you been engaging with AI?
I actually, before this whole thing, I was kind of anti-AI.
Really?
I
Okay.
really wanted to like try and find ideas within my own mind. But starting this, I actually been using ChatGPT a whole lot more. Not just like typing it in and then plugging in whatever ChatGPT spits out to me, but to kind of help brainstorm in like a process. So I would like type in, give me some ideas for say a graphic that you would put on a post, right?
Yep.
And then it will spit me out like 3 to 4 pictures or even 3 to 4 sentences. And I would take those, I would sit down for like 15 minutes, review them, then kind of make them in my own light and like with my own vision.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's the way to do it, right? There's a lot of talk around AI, like taking our jobs and what is the problem behind AI as it pertains to how humans can overcome a lot of the benefits that AI offers, but also not to the point where it's going to take all of the skills that we have and replace them completely. So being able to use AI in a responsible way, that we can use it to leverage our own skills and kind of enhance our own skills to make what we do better. So I appreciate that insight that you gave, and hopefully we can all move forward with AI in a responsible way and in a way that's going to make our future better collaboratively with AI and not just AI taking over us. So thanks.
No problem.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
I'm Emily Richard. I'm the HR intern at Nassau.
What's your favorite thing that you've done for Nassau this summer as an HR intern?
My favorite thing. I got to help recruit for one of the positions, and I got to help make the requisitions for it and schedule their interviews, and it was really fun.
Yeah. Would you say that was pretty rewarding once they actually decided to choose, and how you had a role in that?
Yeah, so the role took since I started. So it opened in the beginning of June, and they just found someone to fill it. So when they found someone to fill it, it was really exciting knowing that they found the person they wanted, and there was no more interviews that needed to be scheduled for that position.
Nice. So you got to see it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Cool. What would you say is one lesson that you're going to take away from your internship this summer?
One lesson. I think just getting to know people, even if they aren't in the same department, getting to know what other people do and what really makes a company work, I think is something that's really important that I never thought about before.
Cool. And moving forward into the future, what's one goal that you think you have and one goal that you think you're going to try and achieve?
I think that I really want to learn more about human resources and get in the nitty-gritty of it. In only 10 weeks, there's really only so much you can learn. So getting more experience within that. What was the second thing you asked?
One goal that you have for the future.
One goal for the future. I think that I want to get better at taking risks and being okay with knowing that I won't succeed at everything.
What a valuable lesson to take away. We appreciate your time, and thank you for your insights.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is John King. I'm an actuarial intern at Nassau this summer, and happy to be here.
All right. Thanks for joining us. How's your summer been so far?
So far, so good. It's almost over, but I've learned a lot. Looking forward to finishing up strong in the next couple weeks and getting everything I can.
There you go. We love an attitude like that. What would you say is one thing that you've been able to learn from this summer that's going to help you the most as you move forward in your career?
Well, this summer was my first experience working for an insurance company such as this one. And as an actuarial intern, it is very different than, for example, consulting work or other work that actuaries can do. But I'd say the biggest thing I've learned about this summer is just the complexities of the insurance industry, and that people tend to think is very simplistic and that it's a very annual process. But I've learned very quickly that we're always adapting, we're always putting ourselves up to industry standards, we're putting out new products. So really it's the details that surprise me the most, and I'm very excited to keep going. Nice.
That's awesome to hear. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions around what being an actuary really means and what people actually do in that role. So we appreciate you coming in and telling us a little bit about that, and I'm hoping you had a really good summer so far, learning a lot. What would you say is one thing that you're looking forward to moving forward in your career, or one goal that you might have down the road?
Well, at the end of the day, I want to keep credentializing myself as an actuary. That's the goal, plain and simple. But really the reason I went into this career is to challenge myself intellectually. It's to learn more about the industry and about the moving parts. So if I were to answer one thing that I'm excited for, I'm just excited to broaden my horizons, my responsibilities, take on more challenges, have more risks within my own work. So that's the thing I'm looking forward to most.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate your insights, and we wish you the best moving forward.
Thank you very much.
My name is Anna Squirlemer, and I'm working on the Chief of Staff team here at Nassau.
What are some of the main tasks that you have with them?
My main tasks are mostly communication based, so I work on NASANet, our internal website, with the email, digital signs, and then I also help with a lot of event planning stuff, which is really fun.
How has that aligned with what you're learning in school?
Yeah, so a lot of my classes in school involve a lot of writing, so I feel like I've learned here how to formulate things for specific audiences, which is really important. So yeah, it's tying in really well.
Cool. And what would you say is one lesson that you're going to take away as you head into your senior year?
I am going to take away the importance of asking questions, and especially how to ask them strategically. So who you want to ask your question to, how to formulate it efficiently, and then also grouping questions all together so you're not bombarding your manager every 5 seconds. Very helpful for everyone.
There you go. I think that's a good, valuable piece of advice.
Thank
I've talked to a couple other people who have said the same thing, so
Oh,
I
wow.
think that being able to take questions into your careers is important, especially at this point in our life.
Hi, my name is Archit. I'm a legal intern and I go to the George Washington University.
Thanks, Archit.
Hi, my name is Colin. I am a Treasury intern and I'm a rising junior at Duke University.
Thanks, Colin.
Hi, I'm JC. I am in the internal audit department and I go to Springfield College.
Thank you. All right, Colin, we'll start with you. What would you say is the most rewarding thing that you've done with Nassau this summer, and something that you're going to be able to take forward as you move into your career?
Obviously, all of the work that I've been doing with the Treasury team has been incredibly rewarding. They've given me, the ability to take ownership over the forecast, so like actually impacting real things and how we operate the Treasury forecasts. But honestly, I'd say the opportunities to meet with high-level senior leaders within the company and the lessons that they've taught us and taught me has been the thing that I'm going to take with me the most to future jobs. They're just very accessible and they're always eager to meet with people and answer your questions. So that's been super helpful for me.
Thanks. I think that's a good piece of advice to take away too, that these people that we often look up to are very approachable, more so than you might have thought earlier in your
100%.
career. So that's something that we all need to learn and take forward. So Archit, moving on to you, what would you say is something that you've learned this summer that you're going to be able to apply as you head into George Washington this next year?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously all of the work that I've done for the legal team, reviewing legal requests, looking at different subpoenas, files, doing research. But one project that stuck out to me was there was a case from like somebody suing us for asbestos related reasons, and we needed to look at documents all the way back to the 1960s that related to the construction of this building. So it was fun to go down to the basement, look at these documents, see what was relevant to our case, what was not relevant, just looking at history, and it felt like that we were actually contributing to like legal work, because if we found something that was going to help us in our case, that would be because of our work. So I think that was the most memorable, me and the other interns spending like 2-3 hours down in the mailroom. So yeah,
all right, I appreciate you saying that, and thanks for doing all the hard legal work behind the scenes. Appreciate it. JC, last one. What would you say is one goal that you have for the future? Short term or long term? Either one. Or both.
One goal I have for the future is, long term, I'm looking to obtain my CPA license. So that's something that I am starting to prepare for already. But going forward, that's something I'm very looking forward to enhance my career.
And I heard you just completed a triathlon. Was that your first one?
I did. It was my first ever triathlon. It was a rocky start. I started a couple minutes late, had to catch up to everyone in the swim, and went down the wrong bike path. So a little bit longer, but I didn't get last, so I'm happy I didn't get last and I finished it.
There you go. You think there's some lesson that you can take away from your triathlon that maybe you can apply to your personal or professional life?
I think just being persistent. I was a little discouraged at first. I didn't want to start it late and be the last one, but I kept going, and eventually I caught up to some people and I finished it, and I was happy at the end that I just attempted it.
There you go. It's a great perspective to have, and wish you all the best of luck in your remaining time with Nassau this summer and as you move forward into your careers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Joseph Nyako and I'm on the product management team. So what I do is to set new rates for the company and for our fixed annuity product.
Hi everyone, my name is Hua. I'm currently working in actual management department under Brad, and this summer I work on the annual statement process of reporting, and the second project I work on is the FIA, which is the Fixed Annuity Index Analytics.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for coming to talk to us a little today. I think we're just trying to use this time to be able to learn some valuable lessons about what people do with their summers as interns, and some lessons that we're taking away from young professionals so we can move forward in our careers together in a collaborative manner. So would you be able to tell us one lesson that you've learned this summer that you're going to take away as you move forward in your career? Joseph, you can start.
Okay, so I'll start from technical aspect to personal experience. So with the technical, we say actuaries, we deal with numbers. So we always calculate numbers. But how do you know if the numbers you have calculated is right? So we have something we call testing or checks that we do.
Right.
So one valuable thing I've learned technically about this internship is about knowing how to test what you have done properly. And coming to software skills, I've been able to learn Excel very well. Excel has a lot of functionalities that I've got to realize, and also my R skills have also developed.
Awesome.
Now for my personal goals, I've developed my communication skills. I've also been asking a lot of questions which I didn't do at first. So this internship has really improved me technically and also professionally.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Kwa, you got anything else?
Yeah, first of all, I've been in love with math since childhood, so I enjoy doing stat and math, but in school we don't have like any opportunity to learn about insurance thing and what how the insurance look like apply into the numbers. And then this summer I had a chance to get a better understanding about how these numbers look like in the insurance and how does it work and connect together. And that's one thing, like everything just put together and make more sense for me in the industry. And then the next one is I learned to start a conversations with someone I've never known before, and that's very valuable.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like nervous when approaching people, so I think that's more valuable to add into my skill set in order to expand my networking.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's why events like tonight with Hype are so important, so we can all branch out and not necessarily talk to people that are maybe intimidating to us because they're 10, 20 years into our career compared to us who are just getting into it.
I share into what he was saying.
Yeah, you agree?
Yeah, I agree, because normally I don't usually go to people.
Right.
But today I was able to go to someone and talk to them.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a nice experience.
Cool. Well, I think that it's great to take away the fact that getting out of your comfort zone and being able to speak to people that you don't normally talk to is always rewarding and something that we can all learn more as we grow in our careers and in our personal lives as well. So thank you both for joining us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Anthony.
My name's Andre Gagner. At Actual Boot Camp, we've been learning all about what it's like to be an actuary, what you got to do to become one, the negatives and also some of the negatives as well as the positives of the profession. Basically trying to get us interested in becoming an actuary and pursuing this in my opinion, very interesting field.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that there's a lot of props that are given to people like you coming right out of high school and coming to do this with your summer, spending your time that you could be just like relaxing at home and actually getting out and about and learning, getting good experience. I think you're already steps ahead of a lot of other people in your field. So what's something that you've learned this summer or an experience that you took away that has changed your perspective on what Hartford is and what they do?
So over the summer, I've been interning at a law firm close to the Capitol, and one thing I had to do was go to the state library to basically go through all their records to look through the history of certain laws, and doing so just really showed me just how old and how rich the history is of the state. Like, look, specifically it was about like the dog bite law, which is one of the oldest laws we have.
What is that?
It's the law of who, like when a dog bites someone, the owner's liable.
Okay.
And you kind of gotta, the law basically outlines who is liable and what situations that would be in.
Cool.
So I had to look at the history of specifically the word keeper, but because it's owner or keeper, and my boss, a lawyer, wanted me to figure out since when has that been included, and then also the transcripts of the meeting that included that word. And it just showed seeing this law change from 98, I don't remember the exact year, all the way up to now, just how this law has evolved through different social situations has really shown me just how rich of a history Connecticut and Hartford has as a whole.
Awesome. I think that's a great perspective to have on it, especially at your age. I know that when I was, are you 18?
About
19.
to be.
Okay. I know, so even when I was at your age, 17, 18, definitely did not have the same perspective on Hartford as you do, and that's a good perspective to have, because now that I've kind of worked here and lived here a little bit longer, I've realized that it is a great place to be and a great place to work and live. A lot of good friends here, a lot of good people around here, especially some good experiences. So you're way ahead of where I was, even having an internship this summer going into your freshman year of college. You're way ahead of a lot of people. So congratulations to you and good luck in the future. Thanks for joining us, Andre.
Thank you very much.
My name is Kaylee Scarfo, and I am an HR specialist here at Nassau Financial Group. I've been here about 4 months.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming to talk to us today. I think that having some experience in your career already can definitely go a long way for young professionals like ourselves. So if there's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody that was just starting their career, what would it be?
I would say to just be, especially when interviewing. Sorry, a sign fell over and it made me laugh. I would say, especially when interviewing, definitely just be confident and, show them, what skills you have, what you bring to the table, kind of like who you are as a person and your values. And I think that'll get you pretty far.
All right, I appreciate it. And I also hear that there's a big, important pickleball tournament coming up. So can you give us your predictions on what's going to happen there?
So I'm partnered with a guy named Mike, and I think we're going to win. So watch out, everyone.
Love the confidence. See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Kathleen Sullivan, and I'm an operational risk analyst.
All right, and during your time here at Nassau, what would you say has been the most valuable thing that you've learned?
Definitely working with different groups within Nassau and just learning about what they do so I can get a better understanding of Nassau as a whole.
What's one thing that you've been able to learn from your internship time here that you've taken into your full-time experience?
Just be a sponge, sort of absorb everything around you and just keep learning.
Great. I think that's awesome advice for anybody just starting their career and looking to get out into the real world and outside of the classroom to get some real-world experience. So I appreciate that. And I'll ask you the same question that I asked Kaylee. There is a big pickleball tournament coming up at Nassau. You're on a team. How do you think you're going to do?
You know what? I think we might be able to win the whole thing.
There you go. Good luck. Thanks.
Thanks.
My name is Joshua Aso, and I currently intern at the Hartford Insurance Group in cloud and AI engineering.
Awesome. Wow, that's a really cool place to be, especially nowadays. What have you learned so far this summer with them, especially with AI up and coming so much, and there's so much in the news about AI? What have you been able to take away this summer?
So we actually have an intern project that we work on. So my intern project was making an AI chatbot it's an internal tool for the cloud and reliability engineers.
Wow.
So reliability engineering is basically making sure that software and applications basically stay running up. So they basically are supporting the applications that we use daily. So that's the websites, that's any software, any tools like that. They just make sure that they continuously run. And I made a chatbot that sources a wiki page that they created for all their documentation. So it can scrape about 50 pages of content in 20 seconds and give you all the information on that for any sort of onboarding or tools that you might need.
Awesome. I think that's super important nowadays. A lot of companies are looking to import those chatbots into their features to kind of smoothen out the process for customer service or whatever it may be. So the work that you're doing is very important, and especially at your young age to be able to do that right now is super valuable to companies in the future. So thanks for sharing that. What's the most valuable thing that you think you've taken away from the Hartford and your internship this summer?
So the most valuable thing I think I've taken away is my ability to network. So at the Hartford, it's a very inclusive culture. So they are really big on you kind of taking the time to broaden your approach and kind of talk to other people. So my ability to network has really grown. During my time, I've done about 30 one-on-ones with different people from business, tech, even VP, even people that are vice presidents, AVPs that have been in the company for long periods of time that manage groups of like thousands of people. So I've gotten a really broad exposure of what people's experience has been at the company. For people have careers that have ranged from 1 year to 20 years, and kind of seeing how the company culture is actually really great at the Hartford.
Awesome. And this is my first internship at a large company, and the Hartford is even bigger than Nassau itself. So what have you been able to learn from the corporate structure and something that is beneficial of the corporate structure compared to just being in the classroom and learning from a teacher that's talking through a PowerPoint, but more so applying it now during your corporate time?
I think one thing that you really learn is to sort of, sometimes you can rely on people more than you would think.
Right.
I think sometimes it's like not, or maybe that could be Hartford for specific because they have a really inclusive culture, but it's really good to like rely on your team and your team members as well, because to that point, there's a lot of technical terminology that they have at the Hartford because it's such a big company.
Right.
And sometimes you might not understand a tool or a specific product, and relying on someone else to kind of give you like information on that isn't always going to be a bad thing. And I think that that's something that isn't really talked about, like asking questions that like you might not think are okay to ask. Like it's okay to ask that stupid question that they call it the stupid question or whatever. Asking questions that you might think that are dumb, but in reality no one else knows the answer, and there's only one guy that knows the answer. And it's always good to kind of be able to rely on your other engineers as well. So.
Yeah, I think that those are some of the main takeaways that I've gotten tonight speaking to other people, that interns as a whole, we love to network, we need to network, it's important to advance our careers, and then also having the ability to ask questions and not having hesitation to ask these questions, because questions are important. That's how we learn. It's hard to just learn doing stuff without any guidance to what you're doing, and if you get confused, having a right leader or mentor to be able to take you where you need to go is important. So being in that mindset is really great. And you said you're at Central, right, this year, and you're going to graduate in a semester?
Yes, I go to Central Connecticut State University studying computer engineering, and I will be graduating December 2025. Yeah.
Cool. Well, one last thing. What goal do you have after graduation, or where do you see yourself after you graduate?
So after I graduate, I plan to return back to the Hartford and work as a cloud or AI engineer, supporting middle and large business or personal insurance. Those are two lines of business in the Hartford. So that's my plan for after college.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, and early congratulations to you, and thanks for joining us, Joshua. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Shauna Holloway, and I'm a Traveler's Edge intern. I'm working with Business Insurance Learning and Development team.
Awesome. What are your main tasks with Travelers this summer?
So I am doing a lot because I'm working for a few teams under Learning and Development line of business, where I'm helping them set up the classes and keep the rosters all up to date and scheduling, sending meeting invites out. I'm working with the Learning and Development team on a couple of design projects for learning videos and modules that's going to be going out to the broader company. And I am also doing a lot of data inputting from previous UPDP programs, so Underwriter Development Program. So yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like you're wearing a lot of hats, doing a lot of good stuff there. So thanks for coming on, sharing with us a little bit about your experience there. What's something that you've taken away from this experience that has helped shape your perspective on the professional world?
So I think it was just the introduction of the professional world. I will give a bit of backstory of how I was leading up to this interview. I was very worried about professional clothing because I have this idea. I'm 25, so I grew up like watching women go to their professional jobs and pumps and dresses and dressing to the nines, and I I'm not gonna say I was disappointed, but I was kind of just like, oh, like I kind of was sad that I missed that part of it.
Yeah.
I know I'm the rare person who wants to come to work in heels.
There's nothing wrong with dressing up more. So maybe if you wanted to, some days you can make a new thing in the office, bring a trend back.
Yeah, be a trendsetter.
Yeah. You said you live in Hartford too?
Yeah,
So
I live in Hartford.
Maybe you could make that a Hartford thing. Hartford trend. Make casual Wednesdays the new formal Wednesdays and bring it back.
Yeah, that would be great.
So what's one goal that you think you have moving forward in your career?
For me to love or at least enjoy my career. I was blessed to have an amazing supervisor, Susie Oski, and she embodies her job. She loves it. It gives her like joy and enthusiasm, and of course there are some parts where she doesn't really like, there's always parts like administrative things, but I see now that like I couldn't be going into finance, which I was originally going to go into, because I was like, oh, it just pays more.
Yeah.
But I realized that that couldn't be me, and I wouldn't find joy in it, and I would end up switching jobs every 3 years because I just don't like my work.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's a really good perspective to have, and I think that's something that we all need to learn as we're kind of growing into our careers, is that work-life balance and understanding where you fall on that scale, because it's a continuum. You need to understand the importance of being able to work hard, but then also the importance of being able to go home and enjoy your time outside of work. So good perspective to have, and I appreciate you coming on, share that with us. And one last thing, what's one lesson that you would say or give to interns or future interns looking to start their careers in insurance or some finance industry in the future?
Don't let a boring name like make you disinterested. I never thought I would work at insurance, and in fact, the person who runs the Traveler's Edge program out of Capital Community College was hunting me down. Okay. He was like, this is a great opportunity, you're gonna love it. And I was like, insurance? But I went for the interview, I got the Edge internship, I started working, and I love it. It's
awesome.
I want to say, just because it sounds boring doesn't mean that there's not interesting parts of the company to work for.
Yeah. Do you think you have a favorite aspect of your job? One that you find most
learning
exciting?
design.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually writing a script. Not that it's going to go out, but it may, I may influence
All right. Be on the lookout.
design. But yeah, I'm creating a script for a learning video. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate the insight and advice that you've been able to give us, and good luck the rest of the summer and as you move into your career.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Lauren Zavechin. I am the Executive Director of the Hartford Young Professional and Entrepreneurs Group, also known as HYPE, at the Metro Hartford Alliance.
All right. And what are some of the main initiatives that HYPE has taken to be able to drive young professionals to connect in Hartford?
That's a great question. So some of the main initiatives are networking opportunities. We do what's called Get Hype, where every month we have a social hour at a local Greater Hartford establishment where young professionals can come together and network, both socially and professionally. We also do professional development workshops that we host several times a year, where leaders across the Greater Hartford region will host them for us and teach a specific skill, whether that be building your brand or how to be a leader as a mid-career professional. We also host what's called our Next Gen Summit, which is a half-day summit that offers the opportunity for professional development through interactive workshops, panels. It's all about the future of work and where we're going and how leaders and young professionals can work together as we navigate that. And in addition to that, we also promote social opportunities that are happening throughout the Hartford area, new restaurants, yoga in the park, the whole thing. So we're really here to attract and retain and make young professionals excited about wanting to be here.
Yeah, I think it's great work that you do, and it's important not only from a young professional point of view, just being able to have places to go where people are of a like mind to ourselves, and we can talk to them through our shared experiences that we're having starting our careers, but also be able to talk to people like you who have been through those experiences and can offer the advice that we need to hear. So what's one thing in Hartford that you think that they could be able to do to draw younger professionals here to the city compared to our competitors in New York or Boston?
I love this question. I think we, first and foremost, we need more storefronts. We need to bring people here not only to go to concerts at the Excel Center or to see UConn play, but we want them to spend their afternoons here on a Saturday. You know, go your grocery shopping, do a little shopping for yourself or your family. And I'd love to see more social opportunities, whether that be more interactive storefronts like virtual golf or pottery classes, whatever that may be. I think that would draw more people. Hartford is fantastic. The people in the community here are very welcoming. I mean, even I've met a person that works at City Hall one time, and now every time I'm on Pratt Street, they say hello to me. And I think the energy here is great. It's just a matter of keeping people here and keeping them wanting to come back.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme about Hartford, is that there is a lot of misconceptions about the city and what we represent and the people here. So being able to kind of overcome that and show people what Hartford truly is about and what their identity is important. And obviously being here, you learn that a lot easier than if you're on the outside of it. So taking those initiatives to kind of push that identity outside of Hartford so people can learn and they actually want to come here afterwards is an important thing to do. And one last question for you, just based on what you do with Hype. You work with a lot of young professionals, obviously. So what's one lesson that you think you've learned from them that they've been able to take into their careers that has led to success?
Ooh. Community is very important. Those connections you make. I've learned a lot from young professionals that after they come to one of our networking events, they've expressed to me I was really nervous. I didn't know anyone, and then once getting there, they started to meet people that were of like mind, and they had the same hobbies, or they were able to make new networking opportunities and find their dream job. So really, face-to-face communication, face-to-face networking. I've just, coming out of the pandemic, I've heard like time and time again, young professionals are just recognizing how important that is. I'd also just like to put my little spin on that as well. When I first started out in my career, I'm 32 now, so I would say I'm more mid-career. One thing that I found so important was asking questions. If you don't know something, that doesn't mean that you aren't qualified. It just means you have room to grow, and being comfortable with that uncomfortable growth is so important because it just makes you a better individual and a better professional at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've talked to 5 different people tonight that have all said that asking questions is important, and it's something that not only they want to learn, because a lot of the young professionals are still learning how to overcome the anxiety around asking questions and understanding that it's not so scary to ask a question, and people want to teach you and they want to hear the questions that you have. So being able to overcome like those initial anxieties between meeting people, and then once you meet people, stepping out a bit further and asking them questions to be able to learn from them, and understanding that these people are open and they want to help, especially in Hartford and the surrounding communities, is really important. So
yeah, it really is. Thank you for having me. Can I ask you a question?
You can, sure.
What do you like about interning in Hartford?
I really love the people in the community. Like you said, I think that there's a lot to do outside of the main city. Like, I think that there is obviously Pratt Street and stuff to do when you walk around, but the surrounding communities is really what makes it for me, and it's a tight-knit place. I live in Ellington, 25 minutes away. So I think that the way that Hartford integrates into the community, and they have events where people can come into the city and enjoy a time here, whether it's a basketball game at the People's Bank Arena, is that the newly named one, or a concert at Bushnell Park. I think that they do a really good job of getting the community surrounding community integrated into the city, so people aren't just coming into the city to work, but coming into the city to be able to enjoy life, grab a bite to eat, go out with friends. West Hartford, obviously, we have East Hartford too. I just talked to Matt a little bit about what East Hartford has to offer, and it's often overshadowed by what West Hartford offers or what Hartford has in its city at night. So just being able to integrate the lifestyle of Hartford into its surrounding community is something that I've really appreciated, not only growing up here, but now working here in the city, and understanding that when you leave work, the best thing to do isn't always to go home, but it's to walk around the city and understand that there is stuff to do here, rather than go home and sit on your phone for a couple hours before you go to bed.
Mindlessly scrolling, yeah. I mean, you can even scooter around the city.
Exactly. There's a lot.
I leave City Place after work and I scooter down to Bushnell Park and take my
Awesome.
yoga class or something for everyone here.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that with me.
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
That wraps up our episode from the Hype Intern Mixer. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you were one of the many attendees from the 24 different companies that came out, or you're just listening in to get a sense of what Hartford's young professional scene is all about, I hope you felt the energy and opportunity that this event created. Big thanks to the Metro Hartford Alliance, the Hype team, and everyone at Nassau Financial Group who helped bring this summer networking experience to life. Until next time, I'm Anthony Massaro, signing off.